right, so throw your name on here and your hour. All right, so absolute value equations are equations that have absolute value bars in them. So first and foremost, let's look at what those absolute value bars look like. They're around these fives. This means absolute value of 5, absolute value of -5. And then down here in the equations, there are these tall little lines. As you guys are writing your equations, you're going to want to make them taller than the letters and numbers that you're writing so you can tell that they're not ones, they're absolute value bars. So what absolute value means is it is the distance from 0. So how far on a number line is the number 5 from 0? What's the difference between 5 and 0? 5. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. Also on a number line, how far away is -5 from 0? 5, we're going backwards, but the distance is positive because remember what we talked about in our quick write? Distance is always positive. So it is 5 away as well. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of -5 is 5. So when we have something inside an absolute value sign and it is equal to a number, we don't know if what's inside was actually the positive version or actually the negative version. So as we go through our equations today, at some point we are going to split and we are going to go into the positive version and the negative version. So our steps are super similar at the beginning to what we did with quadratic radical equations, and that we have to get rid of whatever is outside of the absolute value sign. So the first thing that we are going to do is to isolate the absolute value. Get rid of whatever, please stop talking. Get rid of whatever, Seth Brooke, stop. Okay, yeah, but now it's distraction, so just stop interacting, pay attention. Jackson. Okay, so our first step is to isolate the absolute value. Once we have isolated that absolute value, that is when we do the special thing of these equations, which is we are going to split into 2 separate equations. Those 2 equations are going to be the 2 different scenarios. So the scenario is what's inside was positive, so it's going to be equal to a positive, or what's inside was negative, so we've got to set it equal to a negative. Because the absolute value signs did their work of making it positive, we have to decide whether it's going to be set equal to a positive or a negative. Grab a note, sheet, recording, it's going to interrupt. Okay, so with that, after we get split into 2 equations, we are going to solve both of our equations for x. So all of our problems today are going to have, Meharam, put your phone away. All of our problems today are going to have 2 answers. So at some point in the equation, we're going to split into 2 equations. So moving down, what was that? Okay, I thought you asked why. All right, moving down, we've got 4 examples here. Some of them have stuff inside and outside the absolute values, like these 2. Some of them, everything's outside the absolute value. Some of them, everything's inside the absolute value. So I want you to see all of those possible different options. So we're going to start with this first one here. So we've got absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals -1. Our absolute value signs are right here. That minus 5 is outside my absolute value. So I need to move it to the other side of my equation first. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides of my equation. Thank you. Grab a note sheet, please. And I still have absolute value of 2x equals -1 plus 5, which is 4. Okay, now that there is nothing outside my absolute value sign, this is the new part of what we're doing today, which is the splitting. So there's nothing outside my absolute value signs. So just like Tuesday, to get rid of a square root, we had to square it. To get rid of absolute value sign, we have to split. So I am literally going to split into 2 separate equations. I'm going to split the rest of my workspace up into 2 spots. The 2 equations I'm going to solve are 2x equals 4 and 2x equals -4. So what's inside the absolute value stay the same. I set it equal to a positive and equal to a negative. Okay. Then from there, to solve each of those equations. So we'll have to solve them separately. You'll do the same steps, but you'll get different answers. So the first one, 2x equals 4. I divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 4 divided by 2, which is 2. The other one, 2x equals -4. I also divide by 2 on both sides. Yep. And I get x equals -4 divided by 2, which is -2. So get rid of whatever's outside your absolute value, split into 2 equations, solve them both. Any questions right now? Yes?
Can I eat a pencil?
No. Please don't ask irrelevant questions, especially while I'm recording. Okay, next one we've got 4 times the absolute value of x plus 9 equals 24. So this next one, what is out? Please pay attention. Jackson Seth Miles, pay attention. Okay, what is outside my absolute value here? That 4. See how that 4 is out front?
Yeah.
That 4 is being multiplied by the absolute value. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4 to start. So divide by 4, divide by 4. These 4's cancel. So I now have absolute value of x plus 9 equals, and then 24 divided by 4 is 6. Josh, grab one of those. Okay, from here, grab a note sheet. Is there anything outside of my absolute value on the left side? No. On the left side, no. There's the equal 6, but that's already on the other side. We are always going to have stuff on the other side. So it is time to split. So we are going to split into 2 equations. Our 2 equations are going to be x plus 9 equals 6 and x plus 9 equals -6. Seth, stop talking. So we've got x plus 9 equals 6 and x plus 9 equals -6. So it's the same equation, it's just equal to 6 and equal to -6. Okay, any questions about splitting it? Every problem, when the absolute value is by itself, is when you'll split. So we got rid of the 5, and then when it was just absolute value of 2x, we split. We got rid of the 4 when it was just absolute value of x plus 9. We split. So get rid of everything outside the absolute value and then split. Okay, so we've got x plus 9 equals 6. We're going to subtract 9 from both sides. X equals 6 minus 9, which is negative 3.
Bless you, Jasper.
Okay. X plus 9 equals negative 6. We'll subtract 9 from both sides. Grab a note sheet. Negative 6 minus 9 is negative 15. That's when you're multiplying or dividing. When you're multiplying and dividing, two negatives become a positive. But if I take $6 and then take another $9, that's like even more negative. So negative 6 minus 9 is negative 15. Okay. Any questions about that one? Okay. So both of these, we had to do something before we split, and we had to do something after we split. We're now going to see a couple where you only have to do stuff before or only have to do stuff after. So the next one we've got absolute value of x over 4 plus 13 equals 15. The first thing that we want to do in this one is get rid of that 13 because it's outside of the square root. So I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. And I have absolute value of x over 4 equals 2. Because 15 minus 13 is 2. Multiply. Okay, from there, the absolute value of x over 4, we need to get rid of that dividing by 4. Since the dividing by 4 is outside, we get rid of it now. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. And then we have absolute value of x equals 2 times 4, which is 8. Both of you stop talking. Okay, from there, we now have absolute value of x equals 8. So now our absolute value is by itself, and it is time to split. And this one, when we split, we're done. So this is the easiest one to see. We know that whatever's inside of this absolute value sign, its distance from 0 is 8. So the two possible things that x could equal would be positive 8, because that's 8 away from 0, or negative 8, because that's 8 away from 0. Okay. Last one. We've got absolute value of x plus 2 all over 3 equals 5. What is inside the absolute... Jackson, stop talking. Yes, you are. What is inside the absolute value on this one? Yeah, x plus 2 over 3. All of that's inside. So there's nothing outside the absolute value on the left on this one. So we are ready to just split it right away. So on this one, we split at the very beginning. So sometimes you split in the middle, sometimes you split at the end, sometimes you split at the beginning. So we've got x plus 2 all over 3 equals 5. We've got x plus 2 all over 3 equals negative 5. The paper keeps moving. Negative 5. There we go. Okay. Then we need to solve both of these equations. So if we have an equation that's a big fraction like this, we start by multiplying. So I'm going to solve the one on the left first. We'll multiply both sides by 3. These 3's cancel. And we've got x plus 2 equals 15. And then we will subtract 2 from both sides and get x equals 13 as one of our possible answers. Okay. Any questions on solving that one? Okay, the other one's going to be the same steps. Yes. But the answer is going to be different because the negative 5 is different. So we'll multiply by 3 on both sides here. So those 3 over 3's cancel. So I've got x plus 2 equals negative 5 times 3, which is negative 15. And then from there, we subtract 2 from both sides. Negative 15 minus 2, negative 17. Okay, so get rid of everything outside the absolute value, split into 2 equations, solve them both. Questions right now? Okay, let me stop this video.